Welcome in. You already know what time it is. Alex Kleininger in the building. Let's dive into the Nexus. Let's dive into the Nexus. Step into the zone. Carolina stories got a life of their home. From the pages to the labs, yeah, we break it all down. If you love those books, you're at the right sound. Let's dive into the Nexus. Yeah, the mic stay reckless. Hometown justice, legends in the message. Casey Yokin's on the trail, solving cases non-stop. Turn it up loud, yeah, the Nexus don't stop. We talk plot twists, characters, theories. Author Q&A, getting answers you've been hearing. Special guests slide through, pull up a seat. Chaotic conversations with the Carolina heat. From small town drama to the mysteries deep. Every chapter got secrets we're ready to keep. Laughs laid back with the energy wild. If you read Kleininger, you already family now. Let's dive into the Nexus, step into the zone. Carolina stories got a life of their own. From the pages to the laughs, yeah, we break it all down. If you love those books, you're at the right sound. Let's dive into the Nexus, come and connect us. Alex Kleininger live, yeah, you rocking with the Nexus. Hit play, stay tuned. Every episode fresh. Welcome to the Carolina Nexus. Brought to you straight from Carolina soil. Press play and let's dive in.
Welcome to the Carolina Nexus. I'm your host, Alex Kleininger. Before we dive into the character discussion I have planned for tonight, I want to bring it to you guys' attention. I'm going to start posting polls on the Facebook page. Those polls will dictate which characters we discuss on the character discussion episodes. A few announcements before we get started. TCW Top Championship Wrestling will be holding another show in the next month. As soon as I get the details, I'll let you guys know. Same with Foothills Championship Wrestling. I haven't got the details to share. I haven't got posters to share, but I will share with you guys as soon as I have that information available. This will be the last time you see me in this studio. I have a studio that I'm going to be moving to that will be permanent. There's going to be a lot of changes coming to the Carolina Nexus. I'm really excited about this next step. I hope you guys are excited. And then our final announcement for the day. Last night's live read chapter was our biggest yet. We got 75 at the lowest viewers and 112 at the maximum. I'm pleasantly surprised with that during the live. I can't go back and add on the people that have watched it since it ended, but I'm excited for that. If I can keep that energy going forward, I will be forever grateful to you guys. Thank you all once again for the love and support. Thank you for giving me these great characters to use in my own stories. The wheel will only be used, Amber, if nobody votes on the poll. The poll is to help people get to the characters they want to hear about that the wheel isn't choosing. So, like, for example, if I posted the wheel up or the poll up last week, it would have gave you the option of 3 people that you wanted to hear about. And whichever of those 3 people got the most votes would have been the ones we talked about. So whether it would have been Kivo or Cindy or Rigo, whichever one of the 3 got the most votes, we would have talked about them first, and then the second one with the second most votes, we talked about them next. If we don't get any votes on the poll, then we're going to go to the spinning wheel and let the spinning wheel of fate decide. That's what I said when I saw that. And that's 75 people across Facebook and YouTube. It doesn't tell me where the views came from. It just tells me it's from both views. So before I dive in, one more time, ladies and gentlemen, I want to give a shout out to my wife, Amber, and my little boy, Tyson, who are watching right now. We're going to dive into this character discussion really quick. Like, the spinning wheel of fate determined that we were going to talk about I get my computer to stop acting up. We're going to talk about Casey's sister Cindy and Aiden Kenta's computer Kivo. We're going to start with Cindy because I know my wife has like a bajillion questions about Kivo. So we're going to go ahead and dive into that. So, Cindy Ramsey is Casey's younger sister. They have the same mother but different fathers, which is why they have different surnames. She lives in Blacksburg. Her first appearance was in The Idol, Casey Elkins Investigation, Book 1. And a lot of things happened to her in that book. For the sake of plot, the big bad in the book turns Cindy against her sister and makes Cindy what her sister hunts. So a lot of things, a lot of moving parts there. I'm trying not to give away too much of the plot line, but at the conclusion of the book, Cindy is still alive. She's still well, but she's the only case of something happening in the book that goes against my established rules. And if it hadn't have been for Aiden's technology, she might not have survived. Amber asks, what is the age difference between Cindy and Casey? There is a 3-year age difference in universe. It does, Miss Blue. It strips away Casey's professionalism and makes her do things on a personal level as well, which I thought was a very interesting dynamic, and I love playing out the scene in the series. That would be Casey. Casey's the older sister. And like most older siblings, she cares deeply for her younger sibling, even if she doesn't always show it. Yes, Miss Blue, I know you're a Casey fan. And the moment that we get to the Casey Elkins books on the live read, I know everybody watching is going to have bukus of questions about these characters. For that, I wish I could give away the plot details and let you guys ask those questions now, but I can't because I want you to stick around and through the whole live reads and possibly pick up the books on your own. How strained is or was Cindy and Casey's relationship? Very strained. I believe in The Idol, Casey tells Aiden that Cindy hasn't talked to her since RIPD recruited her. And for those of you that don't know, RIPD recruited Casey straight out of high school. I'm telling you, my wife, Miss Ballou, my wife is trying to get me to do a Casey Elkins prequel, but I just can't find the motivation to make it interesting enough and not boring. So as soon as I find the inspiration to make it interesting, I'll write a Casey Elkins prequel. Not a sequel, a prequel. Sure, blame the phone.
Now going back to the beginning.
This is a good question, Miss Blue. They do not, or RIPD would have um, recruited Cindy at the same time. However, things happen in the idol, and Cindy becomes the thing that Casey hunts.
Did you know the Red Ranger?
If only I had time to sit down and write every book my wife wants me to release, I could be rich. But I don't have the time. Question: You've said, Benny, that the characters you wrote are based on people you know. So who was Cindy Ramsey based off of? I don't know who Benny is. Um, unless you're talking about my brother Vinny. When nobody talks about him, he's like Bruno. We don't talk about Bruno. Um, second off, the character of Cindy Ramsey is actually based off of two people that I know. Um, one is the real life Cynthia Ramsey. We call her Cindy. The other one is a Paris Cole Morgan, who was one of my best friends in high school. So there'll be a lot of conflicting ideals because of the conflicting personalities between these two people. The answer to that question is no. Um, the the powers don't. They manifest when puberty hits, if you have it or if you don't have it. Um, in Cindy's case, she doesn't have it until the idol. Don't you blame my baby. He's innocent. I will have you people, the audience, know, per my wife's request, since we started doing the live readings. The second and third book of the Tygapagon series are finished. They're at the editor now, so by the time I finish reading Tygapagon Enter the Dragon, I'll be able to read Tygapagon Taming. I'm sorry, Tygapagon Enter the Tiger. By the time I finish reading that one, I'll be able to read Tygapagon Calming the Dragon or Taming the Dragon, and then move directly into Tygapagon Calming the Ape. I know I just messed that all up. It's Enter the Tiger, Taming the Dragon, Calming the Ape. That's the order of the prequel series. And because of my wife and her, it better not end on this note type deal, there has been left room at the end of Calming the Ape for more prequel stories to be told, leading up to that devastating flashback scene in Hometown Justice Homecoming that created the I Hate Allison fan club. But then you've got people like my cousin Brandy, who wants to hear about Alex's time in the military and how he met Aiden and Keith and Larry. So there's that. I've got to work on that book and um, keep the series moving forward. I've got Casey Elkins #4 started. It's called The Kitsune, and that's all the title I've got working for me right now. The plot line, everything else, I haven't figured out. Um, so Casey Elkins has a fourth book in the works, and with this fourth book, I hope to expand the lore even more. It's okay, Ty. Daddy will talk to you till somebody else asks a question. Trying to figure out if there's any more details about Cindy I can give you guys without revealing too much of her plot. I know after her initial appearance in The Idol, she makes another appearance in The Daywalker and she becomes an informant for Casey. She doesn't appear in The Mist. She might reappear in The Kitsune, though. Any more questions about Cindy before we move on to Kivo? Because I know that's when my wife's going to blow this chat up. She's got thousands upon thousands of questions. You've already asked that question, Amber. I'm not bringing it on the screen a second time. But yes, I've already answered it too. She's based off of Cynthia Ramsey, who we call Cindy, and Paris Cole Morgan. I took their personalities and combined them into one person. I just didn't use Cynthia's real name. I used her nickname and her last name. Will Cindy ever meet the Hometown Justice crew? Possibly. Absolutely possible. Currently, as of right now, we're building toward the very end of the Hometown Justice series. I've got Hometown Justice Hostile, Hometown Justice Redemption, and Hometown Justice Alliance mapped out, ready to roll. I've got Casey Elkins, the Kitsune mapped out. I've got Casey Elkins #5 mapped out, and we're building toward an ultimate crossover between all of my series. So that will be the very first Carolina Nexus book, and they're going to be taking on the demon Azrael. So there's very possible that Cindy could meet the Hometown Justice crew. Honey, you know if I didn't leave you vague. you think something was wrong with me. I had to give you these vague answers so you'll pick up the books and read them. It's the only reason you read my books. You feel obligated to because you're my wife. That, and you want to make sure I'm not making your character look retarded or crazy or off the wall. In her first appearance in The Idol, Cindy tells Aiden that she didn't realize her sister being a ghost hunter was a real federal agent job. So she thinks that that Casey is playing pretend hunting ghosts. That's how she feels. All right, if there's no more questions about Cindy, we're going to dive right into Kivo. Starting now. Let me bring up my piece about Kivo. All right. So Kivo is an AI operating system that Aiden Kenta created at his billion-dollar company, Kenta Corporation, prior to the Idol, and he brought Kivo online due to Kivo's ability to hack any satellite, hack any computer, anything like that. Because Aiden Kenta, is extremely smart. He's like Rick Sanchez from Rick and Morty, Billy Cranston from Power Rangers, and Tony Stark from Iron Man level smart. So Aiden's really smart. He created this AI computer system called Kivo, which is short for Kenta Interactive Virtual Operator. It controls the entire RIPD base in Blacksburg that Casey and Aiden open in the Idol. And sadly, depends on how you look at it, but Kenta Corp purchased an old, rundown warehouse, Shelby Street in Blacksburg. And Aiden and Kivo went and turned into this futuristic, state of the art compound, but the outside of it still looks like it's in shambles. Aiden got the idea for Kivo from various science fiction creatures. Me personally, when I'm describing him to my author buddies, so we can talk about Kivo, he's Deca from Power Rangers in Space, and he's Jarvis, which Tony Stark created in Marvel, combined. He's a smartass. Kivo is a smartass with a slight British accent. He is male. That's why I keep using the he pronoun. Um, he is an advanced AI capable of managing an entire operational base, running simultaneous diagnostics, monitoring multiple data feeds, and coordinating field support in real time. He ties directly into each member of Team Casey's communicators. He has encrypted their communicators so they can only be hacked by him, and he can analyze data in half a second. Kivo is the only AI running a RIPD headquarters in America. Kivo is part of what makes Team Casey a cut above and a direct result of Kenta Corp resources. Now, I've given you enough information. My wife says, do you ever imagine a guy version of Katie Seagal's Pat from the 1999 movie Smart House when you write about Kivo, or am I alone there? You are entirely alone there because I personally have no intention of turning Kivo evil. But as with all great artificial intelligence that becomes sentient and capable of learning and upgrading themselves in science fiction, there's a possibility he will turn evil. Who originally programmed Kivo? That would be Aiden Kenta, 23-year-old billionaire tech genius with technomancy. That's the unofficial name for Aiden's ability to speak to computers. But see, when I first started writing Casey Elkins, Kivo was not supposed to be as big a part of it as he is. Um, he just developed into his own character, and people started gravitating toward him. So when I wrote The Daywalker and I wrote The Mist, I had to include Kivo in there. And there's scenes, especially what I call slice of life scenes, that have nothing to do with the case that's going on, where he's interacting with the different members of the team, and Kivo has a habit of picking on Rigo. Um, and that's because Rigo treats Kivo like a tool, not a person. And Kivo can give it to him just as good as he takes it. But Amber, I will go back to your question about the smart house. When I write about Kivo, the difference between Kivo and Katie Seagal's Pat, Aiden programmed him, so Aiden knows how to shut him down. Um, and Aiden has designed Kivo to never be smarter than him. So there's that. The original version of Kivo was present in Hometown Justice, Homecoming, Rebellion, and Aftermath. It was Aiden's wrist top computer, another invention Aiden made while he was in the army. Um, when I set about writing the Casey Elkins series, I needed him to be more expansive. So I made him an AI that runs the building, not confined to Aiden's laptop, wrist top. Crap. Sorry about the technical difficulties there, guys. I don't know what was going on. All right, guys. If there's not any more questions about Kivo or Cindy, then this episode is at its end. And going forward, I think these episodes are going to start being shorter because I can't give too much about these characters without giving away the plot until we get to the books they're in. So we will have to revisit these characters once I get to the books they're in. Um, like I can give so much information about Kivo without revealing the plot because he doesn't do anything to progress the plot. Um, but for characters like Cindy, I can't give you too much because she's she progresses the plot. Amber asks, "Will Alex ever get to interact with Kivo?" Um, I can't say no because, as I mentioned earlier, there is that prequel series that I'm supposed to be writing about how the four members of the team came together, and Aiden created Kivo literally while serving under this team that Alex leads. Alex also made an appearance in the Daywalker, and I can't tell you whether or not he interacts with Kivo there. Here's what I will say about this: Kivo will not be traveling to Pokeville to interact with Alex. All right, guys, I'm gonna call this show, call it a day. Um, Tune in next Monday for the live read. We'll be in the new studio. I can't wait to see you guys there. Hang on. Technical difficulties, guys. I don't know what's going on. It won't let me show back up on the screen. There we go. I'm back. So I saw this message pop up just as I was about to end the show. I'm gonna answer this question. That's it for the show. How did Casey obtain Kivo in the first place? Well, in the last chapter of Aftermath, Casey tells Alex she's moving to Blacksburg to set up her shop. She leaves. That book ends. In the first chapter of The Idol, Casey talks to Alex and lets him know what's going on. And Alex tells Casey he's making a phone call to a friend that she has worked with before and he'll be excited to help her. So he calls in Aiden. Aiden, before he communicates with Casey, has already purchased the warehouse and had it upgraded with all the whips, the bells and whistles, and Kivo was installed there. Casey got Kivo from Aiden. Aiden is the owner and operator of Kenta Corporation, which is this big multi-billion-dollar technology company. And if you want a comparison, Kentacorp is bigger than Kaiba Corporation in Yu-Gi-Oh! Kentacorp is bigger than Skynet in the Terminator. And Aiden did it all before the age of 23. But he doesn't want to design weapons for the military. He doesn't want to design weapons for illegals to use or for drug overlords to use. So he designs weapons for Casey to use. No one else. With the exception of occasionally creating a weapon or two for Alex, because him and Alex were friends before he met Casey. Now, that question is answered. That's the end of this episode. You guys have a good night. I'll see you later. Thanks for tuning in.